welcome to the spot. I'm Tiffany,
And I'm Ron.
and we're back with Ron H again, aka Ron Squared. Tiara is out this week, but we're gonna hold it down for her. We're gonna be jumping into BMF, the season finale, episode 10, Dreams Deferred. And before we get into that, the housekeeping, let's get that out the way. Please like and subscribe to video. Look, sorry for the delay. I know you've probably been wondering, like, what are they thinking about this episode? Because I thought it was a good episode, and I want to check in with the fellas here and see their thoughts about the episode.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think this says a lot. But anyway, the episode started out with the federale chase because I thought about you, Ron, because you had said in the previous recap that you wanted to see what happened in the end. You're like, I wish they would show us the whole thing and what was happening. So we were getting closer to that
Mm-hmm.
in this scene because we saw that the federales was chasing, Meech and T and Loco, and their truck flipped over and everything, and they got to a point that they were running out of ammo, and Loco got shot, and the helicopter came. Helicopter came, and now we know by the end of this episode, we finally found out the root of the beef because Meech went back to help Loco, and T ran for the helicopter.
Which is what he should have done. Yes.
Yeah,
But,
he should have. Yeah.
but Loco looked like he got hit a couple times above the shoulder area.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Um, I can see why there's so many drug cartels in Mexico because the federales can't hit nothing. They can't hit the side of a barn. I mean, you got Meech with a sawed-off shotgun that is only good for around 10 feet, and he's shooting at a federale, and then T, he has no more ammunition. What Meech do? He goes and tries to help Loco, leaving his brother. Now, you can say what you want to about T, but Meech, and I've said this before, if I had to put a blame on why their relationship has gone astray, it's because of Meech. Because Meech has this sense of loyalty that he has for everyone else except his own flesh, being T. And, you know, and then again, Meech runs out. He don't catch a bullet. He's able to help Loco. T runs out. He doesn't catch a bullet. So the federales, y'all got zero on my car for knowing how to shoot a gun. I guess you have to be like within 2 feet of them to hit you. But hey, it is what it is.
I wanted to get y'all thoughts on that because I was kind of torn. Like I understand that. Like T said, my thoughts were getting back to my family, which should have been Meech's thoughts too. So I
Exactly.
so I get that. But I see both sides because at the same time, like T did tell the guy to wait,
Yeah.
and he left anyway. So I can see Meech saying, not knowing that T told the guy to wait, saying, my brother really left me. So that I would beef about that too. Like there's no way, like, yes, I would try to get home to my family, but I would not leave my brother. I would not leave my sibling. There is no way that I would leave my sibling in another country not knowing whether he survived or not. Like they were in a gunfight. So on that front, I can see why Meech was beefing.
But once again, you're not thinking, Meech, because if you're in a gunfight and a helicopter is hovering to pick you up, how many bullets does it take to hit the helicopter? So it's not something like you can wait around and, and then again, you also have to understand the pilot, he's going to do what he wants to do. So
Mhm.
if T gets on there, no matter what he says, you heard T say, "Hey, I gotta
I gotta wait for my brother.
wait
Yeah,
for
he
my brother."
did. He did.
And
But
the pilot was like, "You can wait for him either, you know, in heaven
on here, out there.
or out there. So you choose."
Yeah,
I,
and
I I understood both sides. I understood Terry. Like I would have been on the helicopter.
Exactly.
But I understand. Like if I'm the one being left behind, I can see like dang, my brother really left me in another country. Like,
But you were only left behind because your behind stayed behind.
Well,
go ahead,
here's the
Ron H.
thing. So it's this one's kind of funky, but I will say now, because of this episode, I understand where Ron was going and where
Mm-hmm,
he's thinking, and I agree with him.
mm-hmm,
Meech probably has more to do with this now than
mm-hmm,
than my thought last time around. So
mm-hmm,
I get you. I'm with you.
mm-hmm,
But I will
mm-hmm.
say these two things should never not happen. Loco Meech really does fall in line with bringing everybody into family and making them putting them on the pedestal or whatever,
Mhm.
sometimes even above his own family, which is not
Yeah.
good.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
But I
mm-hmm.
do understand the dynamic and the relationship between him and Loco looks at Meech in high regards, and I don't think if I'm Meech I could leave Loco there like that. So for two reasons, I'm just, if I'm in this business, I'm a thinking man's thinker. I'm
Mhm.
like, one, I can't leave him like that because I do care about the dude. He's been there for me. He's got me out of jams. I got to try to do my best to help him. And secondly, if he gets out of this jam and I leave him, I'm not trying to make Loco an enemy. I'm just thinking, long term. I'm a long term thinker. That's one. Secondly, when Terry headed for that helicopter, I get it. I probably would have did it too. But once I got on the helicopter and dude's like, I got to get out of here, I'm jumping off the helicopter before he takes off because that's my brother. I'm not leaving my brother to die there. I come all this way. I'm doing everything with him. I'm not going to let him die and I'm going home to the family. My brother's on the ground. Like, I can't. We go
That's
together.
that's
We
my
went
part
together. We
because
got there together.
I feel
Those are the things that I'm thinking, So I see both sides. I can't. I'm jumping off the helicopter. I'm sorry. I can't do it.
that's where I'm at because I got like you. I feel like they should have got out of there, but I feel the same way you do about the local situation. We even had that discussion when we interviewed the actor who played Loco, Roberto Sanchez. He said that he confirmed that he and Meech's relationship was solid. It was more like brothers and stuff like that. So that being the case, I understood why he went back for him. But what you guys said is true too. Meech did have a problem with putting everybody ahead of Terry. Terry was right when he said that to Meech, because he's always been coming in second to other
Mm-hmm.
people and stuff. But reiterating what you guys said, I couldn't have left, even if Meech was doing the same to me. If he didn't hold me in the same regard, I could not live with the fact that I left my sibling behind in a situation like that. And then I wouldn't even been able to look my parents in the face when I get back and be like, "You're here, but you left your brother there." Like, what?
Yeah, that's kind of
yeah.
crazy.
And,
And
and,
don't get
and
me wrong, I understand where Ron's coming from. I definitely am on that side. Like where Terry's thought process is, I'm there, but I got to deal with it after. Like
but
I'm gonna make sure I get back on the ground. Me and Meech get out of this, hopefully, if we can. And once we get out of this, now we splitting up.
but
I
see,
Now
can't
we
I can't roll with you. You a different dude. So
but in reality, what Terry should have done was run to Meech
and take him with them to the
and
helicopter.
right and Meech and Loco. I mean Meech and Terry pick up Loco and take him to the helicopter.
That's a
That's
yeah.
what should have been done. You know,
but
but and then again, how did Meech and Loco get out of that anyways?
we don't know. We don't know. But Loco made
Yeah,
it. And to Ron H's point, that if he had left him and Loco made it, then he would have been an enemy. He would
yeah.
have been an enemy. Like,
But
you left me to die.
no, seriously. In all seriousness, I would have tried to help him first. I would have said, "Hey, bro, come on, let's get this man up here." Yeah, that'd have been my first thing. Now, if for some reason y'all ain't trying to act like you trying to get on that helicopter too quick, guns are blazing, man.
Well, you heard T. Tease didn't care if he didn't make it or not. He said, "Listen, I was thinking if Loco died, then
But
maybe you would finally see me as your second and stuff." So he didn't care if Loco didn't make it or not.
right.
So that now we see why the dynamics changed the way it did because he left him there, and the difference of opinions on the business and stuff.
Mm.
But it, after that first scene, we go to the next scene where as it's Meech and T, and they talk to Hoop, and they tell Hoop that about B-Mickey being out there and how he pulled up to the house and how Pops had to check him. And so Hoops is like what? So they devised this plan, that they were gonna set B-Mickey up and say, like, hey, Hoop, call him, tell him that we need him out here and stuff, and we're gonna and we'll meet. And the plan was to take B-Mickey out. So I was like, uh-oh. I just knew. I was like, this ain't gonna be that easy. I just knew. I said, this
Well,
ain't gonna go well.
well, it would have been had the Terminator showed up, but I mean, but I don't know, B Mickey, because Hoop was supposed to pretend like he was still in the D. No, Hoop
No,
was
he said we need you to know. He
so
told him,
he
he
thought B
told me,
Mickey,
Mickey.
right? He said, but someone said pretend like you're still in the D. Was that
No,
because I think B Mickey was supposed to be in the D. Somebody was
he
supposed
was he
B
told
Mickey
him
was in the
to.
D. Yeah.
Mickey was already in Atlanta.
He was already
But he said to pretend like you think he's still
think
in the
he's in the
D
D.
Right,
That's
and
right,
what I'm
right.
say,
talking about.
and so when who called him, he
Right.
said,
Get
come
your
here from the D. We
right,
need you down in the A. Even
right,
though he was down already there,
right.
they made it seem like
Yeah,
we need you
that's
to
where
come
I was
down
headed.
here.
That's where I was headed. I was getting my A's and O's mixed up, but that's weird. But anyways, um, I look, if Hoop was serious, that might have worked. I mean, well, if Hoop was serious, well, it let's put it this way:
No, who sold it? Who sold it?
he sold, no, he sold it absolutely. I mean, because B Mickey bought that hook, line, and sinker. It was going nowhere else. I mean, and so really, RIP was written all over B Mickey's back. But well, he got it anyways. But I don't know. My hate or my disdain for B Mickey is because look,
No,
man, I,
here.
I
This Dane.
yeah, because if you're gonna help out my little girl who is in dire straits, and you're gonna give me the money I need to save her life, squash all whatever happened before. I'm with you 10 toes down. And you may not want to be with me, but I'm gonna be with you 10 toes down. You saved the life of my little girl, straight up. And I don't blame T for trying. Meech was a little upset that T brought him back into the game. Understand that. But T did tell him, his daughter was sick and I helped him, blah, 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 whatever. So for me, B Mickey, yeah, yeah, RIP, brother. You deserve what you got because, hey, man, you came to them for help and you got exactly what you needed, help.
Well, I think both B. Mickey and Lamar, because they were so obsessed with vengeance. What the scripture saying being about vengeance being his, about God, and they were so obsessed. And B. Mickey, like even his wife tried to tell him, like, listen, life has changed, our baby's doing well, we got good people. And I like Lucille and them was embracing them and stuff, and he couldn't let go of the vengeance and stuff. And that's why both of them, it led to what it led to. Because you know, I want to hear Ron H's thoughts.
Well, I'm just saying it all started bad from the beginning because you know I get a little upset with the fact that and I've said this already last week. I said it. These guys are supposed to be very smart individuals. It's not that nothing happens overnight. You go through a lot of lumps, and to get to the point of where they got making that type of money, you got to be smart and make some sound decisions.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, they're making these decisions that just don't make sense to me. Once again, we talked about it before, the whole thing with B-Mickey and him not being a part of the situation anymore and Meech feeling a certain way about him. T said, stuff's going on with his kid. I'm trying to help him out. even when he did this, I was like, what are you doing? This is not how you do it. You do this. This is what you offer him. This is what he gets. He offered him money. Hey, this is going to help you. It would help the surgery. It would pay for whatever it was. Maybe long term, I don't know. If she gets sick again, that's a different story. But this would have helped right then and there in the immediate. He's like, no, that ain't gonna help me. I need, I need to be able to make money and blah blah blah. Listen, that's not my problem. I'm giving you this. This is what you getting. You take this, take care. But no, bringing him back into the game was not a smart move. He should have just gave him the money out of the kindness of his heart. That would have definitely helped the daughter and go from there. That's it.
Right.
But outside of that, now that we hear, I really don't understand. I still am trying to figure out the hatred that B-Mickey had for them. I understand that because of different actions and what he was doing, maybe he still holds them in what happened to his grandmother, or was that his mother?
It was his mother.
Mother, sorry. What happened to his mother and everything, getting involved with having the cops on him and getting caught up in all that, and then being a snitch and then having to do all this stuff. And yeah, I get it. But you still are a man. You made these, a grown person. You made these decisions. You decided to do certain things. You decided to be loyal to them, and you decided to take whatever came with that. Loyalty sometimes comes with a price.
It does.
Exactly. And that's what I think he felt, that he didn't get the same type of loyalty, because he felt like he killed Kato. He killed his own child's mother for Meech and them. And then, he felt like it was one-sided. And he said, and then when the situation with Bryant, he felt like they just cut him off. So that's where B-Mickey was coming from. But again, like you said, he made those choices and stuff. And once they agreed to help, the reason why T also helped, we talked about this last week, he gave him money. He's a father, so he felt sorry for him. But however, he also said he contracted out, like he wanted him to do Jay Pusher, because we saw T in the gunfights and stuff, but T ain't really no killer.
No,
he ain't never really want to get his hands dirty. So B-Mickey is a hitter for sure. He's a hitter for sure. And so he was hiring B-Mickey to take care of the Jay Pusher thing. And if it didn't work out, you heard what he told Hoop. If it don't work out, then he's expendable. So so that's the only reason why he kept B-Mickey too, because I guess it didn't make a difference whether he made it out or not. His hands were going to stay clean. So it's going to be interesting to see how things happen with the Hoop situation, because that was an interesting conversation that happened soon after they talked about the plan, when Hoop approached Meech and was just like, I apologize. I'm trying to be loyal to both of y'all, and stuff. And because Hoop has been clutch for both of them.
And I think he did a good job explaining himself too, because it's true. I mean, if Meech is someplace else and he's working with Terry, well, like you said, he was beholden to both of them. So Meech has to understand that. But Meech wants to be God in the BMF story. And, and in that regard, and I've said it last week, he overlooks whatever Terry does or wishes to do, because he believes that everything should flow through him. And regardless to all this that happened in Mexico, that relationship is torn when you can't even hear your brother's decision making, or even attempt to help him with the thing. You just tear him down every time he comes up with something. The only thing I agree with Meech about in that situation is Markeisha, and I'll get to her a little later on.
Yeah, I was about to go there next, because during the course of that conversation with Hoop and all of them, because to back up, Meech he seemed like he did accept Hoop's explanation, because he was like, I'm glad you came to me like this. And then he said, and then he was rolling up the blunts, he was like, well, once B-Mickey is 6 feet under, we gonna smoke these. So it seemed like he did appreciate the approach. But before that, while they were trying to, devise their plan, Markeisha calls and then interrupts the moment and lets T know that she's in the hospital, and that Boom tried to kill her, and he needed to get there right now. And she's like, well, ma'am, and he's telling her, listen, I'll put some men outside your door, and stuff, because right now I'm trying to handle business, me and my brother, and she's like, F your brother. And see, and that's why the issues that I have with her, because I've heard other folks say, even when we had them on our show, they're like, oh, y'all blaming the woman, y'all blaming Marquisha. T should be his own man. He should.
Hmm?
However, I have a problem with your significant other trying to have you go against your own flesh and blood. Like you telling him F your brother? Like what? No.
And that,
Yeah, so she
I'm sorry, go
no,
ahead.
go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, and that in and of itself is bad enough. But it made it even worse, the fact that you couldn't get rid of Boom, but you're telling to tell Terry what to do with his relationships and his family. And I'm like, one thing I did agree with Meech this time when he called her
A sack chaser.
I was done. I said, I'm gonna remember that line because that's exactly what she is, a big sack chaser. And I'm like, go on, Meech, with that. Hey, those two
Yeah,
words will never live in my memory, I'm telling you.
and trust me, like, it's more to it's yes, Meech is mad because he got left and stuff. And I know you feel like it's more Meech's fault. But Meech is mad about Marquisha too. Like the role
Yeah.
that she's played in their relationship. Meech has an issue with her. And that's when he said, when T was saying later, like, I went back, like, I'm not selfish. I went back to protect the family. And he was like, no, you went back to be near that sack chaser. Like, you ain't slick. You like, this is, and he has been under her control. Like, she has had a lot of sway over T.
Yeah, but it's an old saying, you be careful what you say about somebody's if you like, like if you got a son and he's dating a young lady that you don't like, be careful because you can drive him straight to her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
have to choose your words and your thoughts wisely because oftentimes you drive them right straight to the very thing you don't
Exactly.
want them to have.
Very true.
Exactly.
And I think that that's largely what happened with Meech and Terry. But I wish LaWanda just when she got there and to the hospital, just drag her out of the bed and make
Oh,
her fall on the floor or something. Gives me
listen, I was like, when I saw Lawanda there, I was like, go ahead and put the pillow over her. I was like, let's go ahead and put the
ain't
pillow
nobody
over her
gonna miss
face.
that. Ain't nobody gonna miss that petite.
Right, right, right. And I was just like, Lawanda, a real one. I said,
Yeah.
because she was like, Terry asked her to go by and check on Marquisha. There's no way that
Ever.
my son, his
Ever.
father, could have asked me to go check on another hoe. Like,
What are we
no.
talking about here? I was so mad when I was watching that. I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Who's doing this?
Yeah.
And then, all right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, please proceed. Please proceed.
Then you not only you got the nerve to ask your ex, your baby mama, to go check on your new work. She goes there knowing that she don't want to be there, and she's got to go play and make nice. And then, I just want her to be herself and just stay yourself. She goes there, she talks to her, just check, see how she's doing. They get into something. She's like, man, if you wasn't sick, boy. And then you know what? I just want us to make peace. No. Keep that energy and walk up out of there. Look, I don't want to be here. I came. You look okay. I'm out. That's it. Don't be talking nicely to her.
I wouldn't
You
have
don't
gone.
like her.
I
I
mean,
that's what I'm saying. Like, why are you having Marquis? I mean, Lawanda go check on, like you said, yo, you
Crazy.
work. If T got men outside her door, why can't they report back and tell you how she doing? I don't need to go and see. Like, there's no way he could have asked me to do that.
and
There's no way he could have asked me to do that, and we would have had issues if he did.
and I think therein lies my other problem I had with particularly this episode. I haven't seen much of it. Well, I've seen bits and pieces of it throughout the series, but this episode really put a low light on certain women. LaWanda, for instance, as you were saying, um, LaWanda, stand on your own volition. Don't you? This woman hates you. She ruined your family, and you gonna go and check on her? Mm-mm. No, you don't go check on that.
Mm-mm.
And uh, am I too early to get with Aisha? Because that's another part of the story. that I found disfavorable. Now you married to a drug,
B-Mickey.
a drug dealer, a thug. Your baby is kidnapped by a bigger thug and a crazy, and you choose him because he gave you some nuggets that you didn't understand or believe, or and what he said about B-Mickey killing
Yeah.
unaliving Kato,
Mm-hmm.
and that she was pregnant at the time. Get it? I would have been upset too. But then you gonna run the you. I mean, if all this worked out the way my boy wanted it to work out, you were gonna hook up with him, who's 10 times worse than what you got.
Right.
And that just, that kind of insecurity and one way thinking for these women in this show bothers me a bit. They just don't seem to have much of a backbone. I mean, there's just no way in our world. There's no way. That's what I feel right there. That's exactly how I feel about this whole thing. It's just no way that I would acquiesce to someone like how do you do that? He's kidnapped your child.
Well, he said he was misunderstood
I
and
don't.
stuff. Like she heard the sob story that he gave her about,
And that's
his
the weakness
child, and he
part I'm
said, and we're
talking
gonna
about.
be a family and stuff. Well, who knows what, B Mickey sold her a dream too, because B Mickey lied to her the entire time
He
about,
lied.
he told her that Kato died, but he was unalive, but he failed to tell her that he was the one who did it.
I
So
got
I
that.
think that I think
But you go to
I'm not saying I'm not advocating for her going to Lamar. I'm just saying I think the that made her see B-Mickey in another light, as far as, because she said, "You okay?" And because when he asked her, when at the ambush scene, if we go there, um, he was like, "You crying?" And she was like, "But he's not my child's father. He's not my husband. Like, I married you. Like, I think you're this person." And then I find out that I mean, for you to, I mean, of course, B. Mickey did not know at the time that Kato was carrying his child,
right.
but he did, as Lamar said, he did unalive her in cold blood.
But
Like,
would you go down and kneel down to Lamar and wish
I
him
wouldn't rob neither one of them.
exactly.
If I found out that information,
Right.
that would be jarring to me too. Because I'm just like, if he can do that to her, he can do that to me.
And then
So I would think that.
right.
But Lamar, like, you kidnapping him, you scary and stuff. Because he left out the fact, he said that Mo died, but he left out the fact, like B. Mickey said, that you would have wanted to unalive Mo. So
Exactly.
you don't, dealing with either one of them would have been a problem.
Precisely. Walk out with your little girl and leave them both dying.
Well, she did. You see, she didn't even want to be bothered with burying B. Mickey. She was like, he didn't cause too much drama. And called Lucille and was like, "Hey,
Yeah, but that part where she kneeled down to Lamar and said, "Oh, you're not alone." Yeah, he is alone because he's going out of this world alone. And let me
what?"
tell you, look, leave that Negro down there on the ground, dying because he ain't worth your time.
I think she was like, she knew he was dying, and I think she was trying to, like, in his final moments, just like, give him some grace in his final moments. You're not alone, and let him die with some dignity. That's what I think.
Yeah,
I mean, some solace to it for him going out. I mean,
the
I don't
Bible
know
says
about
don't.
dignity.
The Bible says don't pray for the dead because it's already too late for him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the other thing too is like she did that, right? But I get it. Finding out that he took out Kato and Kato was pregnant, that's some horrific stuff. But you
Mm-hmm.
still married a monster, okay? You
That's my
still
point.
got now he's not just a dealer, he's a hitter. Like,
He's a
you
hitter.
got with somebody who ain't the good person.
Thank you.
You know what I mean?
And she knew he wasn't, because she was in on the plan too. Like, she knew that
Right.
he was
She
out
was
for
on the
revenge.
revenge tour.
Yeah, she was on a
She
revenge
had
tour.
front row
She just,
tickets.
Now y'all getting what I'm trying to say.
exactly. So she changed her tune
Yeah.
later, like, and came around and was like, we don't need to continue doing this. But she knew who he was anyway. because the fact that he could still proceed to go on this revenge tour after, you know, that he got money from them. Lucille officiated his wedding, and Charles was the best man. Like the family still embraced him, even though they knew that Meech and T didn't rock with him.
At some point, you're going to put that madness behind and realize what you got. In fact, you should have took that money, got your baby well, and split, gone someplace else. 'Cause
Exactly.
that, that
Exactly.
that was your second chance at life right there.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yep.
And my girl Lucille, that's another one. When we going to
Yeah, we're gonna lead up to that because, well, while all this was happening, well, who met with B-Mickey and stuff, and he let him know that he was the one that killed Laz, and you know, um, who sold the story. He sold it, to even get him to the point where they ambushed him, and just was like, T is acting up, this, that, and the other, and he was like, yeah, well, we can just take out T and take over. So I was like, wow, he real grimy. And then of course, who told them everything to ambush them. But Bryant and the team, I thought about Ron, how Ron likes his super cop. Ron likes his super cop. And yeah, they had the task force and they were on it. They were on it. They were tracing B-Mickey's steps. They knew that Aisha had left in the hearse. They were APB out in the hearse. So they, Bryant pulled up, just in time to the mall because B-Mickey had gone there and Hoop was there, and then T and Meech had ambushed B-Mickey, and they were getting ready to take him out. And that's when Brian showed up. I mean, no, I mean Lamar. Lamar
Okay.
showed up.
Right.
Lamar showed up, and he started shooting. He disrupted everything, and so that was crazy because he had Aisha, and B-Mickey yelled out to Meech and was like, Meech, don't shoot back. That's my wife.
Exactly.
So he was still trying to, protect her before, what ended up happening, because that happened, the shootout and everything. And Mickey got the drop and shot Lamar. But then when Bryant came in, at that point, B-Mickey had snatched Aisha up and was threatening. He was like, I already killed one. And I was just like, I was wondering, I said, do y'all think he was bluffing? Do you think he would have really killed Aisha?
Let me tell you something. When you put a gun to your own wife's head, bluffing or not, it's the
Uh-huh.
same as pulling the trigger.
That's what I thought. I was just like, okay, would he have really done it? Is he bluffing?
It would have been the same.
I think he was sort of bluffing, but he also noticing because they already had the conversation prior to him snatching her up.
The conversation about Lamar.
About her looking at him differently for who he is.
Oh, when she said when
Yeah,
she saw Lamar on the ground and
Right.
stuff, and when she ran out and she was like, "Why?"
Yeah.
He said to her, "Why?"
That
are
was
you
before
crying?
he snatched her up.
Yeah, he said, "Why?"
No, I think at that point, even though he might have been bluffing just slightly, he was
might have
also
been like,
thinking, I might have to get rid of her
I might have to
because
get
she
rid of
ain't
her.
rocking with me no more.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
because that's what Lamar fed her those lines.
Yeah.
A motel. But like if you mad enough to put a gun to your wife's head, you might as well just go and pull the trigger. It's the same thing.
Yeah, because he was mad. He was mad because he was like, "Oh, what you crying over him for?" And then when she said, "Well, he told me that Kate, I don't know who you are, blah blah blah."
But
And he
listen,
said, "Well, did he tell you that he killed his baby mama?"
right,
He
right,
was like, "Did he tell you that?"
right,
And so
right.
I was like, "Oh, so yeah." So I was wondering. I was like, "Was he really gonna do that?"
But listen, who said called Lamar the Terminator? Now,
He called him the term a nigga.
yeah,
That's what he called him. That's what he called.
okay, we want to be precise on this show, and he was called
Determined. Yeah.
Okay, and look here, sometimes it's hard enough to kill a nigga anyway, and
Yeah.
if you want to give him the Terminator, you just got to put a bullet in his head. And so if when season 5 comes, don't be surprised if the Terminator shows up again.
I was waiting for B-Mickey to put one in the head.
That's
he
what
did not do it.
I was waiting for
Once
that too.
again.
Exactly.
I think he's gone this time though.
I would hope so.
I don't know.
I would hope
I
so.
think he was gone.
Oh, he took one too
There's
many breaths for me. So
there's some
no.
hoopla offline though. Um, the real B-Mickey is mad because he's still alive. He's mad, at
Right.
50 Cent and them about the show because the real B-Mickey is alive. The real Lamar is also alive. But I'm like, shoot, this is a TV show, so
Right.
they of course they're going to take creative license and liberties with the show a little bit to make it entertaining. So I understand why they did what they did.
Mm.
But Bryant, in his last moment, and my son said this, he was like, Lamar saved Shorty. He said that was his last good deed because he grabbed B. Mickey
Right.
and he shot him. So he got the first shot off with B. Mickey, and then Bryant aired B. Mickey out.
Yeah.
And so, but Meech and them, when they saw Bryant, they got up out of Dodge. They got out of Dodge and they were
Together.
home in time to get the call the call from Mama. Because Mama Lucille called and Charles to give him the news because of course Aisha had already called and told them, and they wanted to make sure that Meech and T weren't responsible, and Meech was like, listen, we might be a lot of things, but we not killers. And then Meech offered to pay for the funeral and stuff. And T was in the background like, we ain't paying for
Right.
that. And then and he was like, nah, because when he hung up, Meech was like, no, we just found another way to move our work because they, of course they were nervous because they were like, how we gonna move to work with Bryant? Because Bryant and the task force was on it. Being a super cop, they were all over everything. So now, with the funeral, that gives them a way to move the weight right under everybody's nose. He was very proud about that because Bryant was at the funeral too, watching, and they were able to move to work without being suspected. But the part going to Lucille that made me laugh, made me think about you, Ron, because I said I know we're gonna be on the same page about this. Cause she was just like, yeah, when we go home, and Charles said, we ain't going home. And
Okay.
isn't that what you wanted? You wanted me out the house. And then she like, I don't want to be alone. I was like,
What? Who knew? I mean, you've been kicking Charles out of the house from ever since the episode started, and here you get your chance. And I love Charles because Charles was like, "Yeah, you got your chance to do your thing. You'll be all right. You've had harder times. Go do you, because this is what you wanted, right?
yep, you wanted me out the house. You
And now,
wanted to be
guess what? Okay, so first of all, Nikki ain't gonna be there. She got her own place. Charles is gone. So you know what? It's a lot of money you're gonna be missing. You ain't got the church no more.
Mm-mm. She
Uh,
resigned from the church. She did resign.
your government funding is gonna be a little less now because it's only you. So you know what? Just be careful of what you ask for because you just may get it.
Because
So
she sure was crying. She was boo-hooing. She was in there reminiscing of all those times. And you're right. Everybody was gone. Nicole and Breeze got their own place. T and Markeisha moving to LA, the mansion and stuff. Meech is staying in Atlanta. Charles staying in Atlanta. Like everybody was gone. And I was like, I thought of that. I was like, man, that's her karma. I was like, she like drove a lot of the folks away. I mean, at least she would have had Nicole and the baby close. And I mean, she can always go over their house, but it's not the same. They're not gonna be in the house with her. And she was like, I'm gonna want to be alone. But I'm like, but you were pushing Charles out the house.
well, you know what? The one bright area for her is she probably won't be alone because her son is having a child. And I can't stand the fact that looked like Markeisha that knocked up Terry. Did you see that belly on that
That's
boy? I mean, he looked like he's due any day.
yeah, that's the
What
thing.
was that? You
The
couldn't
belly
score.
situation is crazy because when Lawanda got a new boo, so when they had the little farewell party for T, Lawanda came with the Tyler LaPlay. And we know him as Diamond in P Valley and Ian and Harlem and everything, and he fine. And I was happy for Lawanda. And he was flexing on T a little bit too. Like he was just like, she's smart, she's beautiful, and treat her like the queen that she is and stuff. And my son said he thought he did too much, and he was like, I don't think T cared. And I was like, T did look like he cared. I
He
don't care.
cared. He
T,
cared.
I was like, I don't get what you say. T was bothered.
Yeah, he was
T was
also
bothered.
bothered about his physique and the one he just got
Oh,
to let go.
he
I
couldn't
mean,
get out. He was struggling to get out
you
the
know,
booth.
my mother used to tell me, she said, it's one thing to be fat with a belly, but when you skinny and got a belly, it's even doubly bad.
Well, at that point, he was getting big. Yeah.
That belly was like, look, it looked like he was due probably next month. Something. That boy was pregnant.
Well,
Terrible.
you know what was interesting too, that Worm was also at the farewell party.
Yeah.
And Nikki was like, don't worry, it ain't yours. And I wanted to say, you sure? Because I still don't believe, I don't know if Breeze is really the baby's father. And you see before the end of the party, Boom had gotten word that T was moving that Marquise was moving with T. So he told some hitters to make sure that they don't make it to LA. And so the place gets shot up. So we have to see, if there is a new season, who got hit, who survived. Like, me just thinking these things out, like, does Worm get unalived in this? Is there a situation that comes up that needs to be a like, like, are we gonna find out that this baby is indeed his and not Breeze's? I mean, it may be Breeze's, but I'm just thinking.
I think they they given I don't know what they're gonna do. They look like they're giving people an out because that baby should not be Breeze's baby. For the way that Nikki's been careless and not really being responsible. That is the lesson in it. And that's what the show should show. But I don't know. I feel like they're giving her an out. I feel like I mean, they're going to make it Breezes. And so that'll make it a lot better for her. But I feel like that is like when it comes to these type of shows, they always let you know the tragedy. There's not a lot of happy endings. And so the tragedy for Nikki would be being the smart one, taking care of business, getting the scholarship to college, then getting pregnant all of a sudden because of your lack of being careful and being reckless. Because let's not forget, it's not like she was just, it happened, she's a young person. No, she was actually being reckless. She was doing her thing. So
yeah,
this is the type of stuff that really, especially us knowing how things happen in communities, this is the type of stuff that takes you off your path, and then it's hard to get back. So
both of them, their dreams are deferred, if not dead, because there's just so much they have to deal with having this child. Now, and like you said, well, no, but I said that's why I said deferred. But sometimes you just don't go back. Some people don't, but it's I don't know. I'm in agreement in somewhat because I don't know how long Breeze was away before she started messing with um
he had just gone Worm. He had just gone away to school.
yeah, I
And
don't
then Breeze came home and then she was messing with Breeze again. I mean, yeah, it was really close.
yeah.
And that's why I said I don't know.
that timeline's looking like Worm. I don't know.
Yeah, it's 50-50.
To me it is too. And that's why I'm like, I feel like if they want to keep it interesting too, since we are taking, they're taking creative license with some stories in BMF, that would be interesting too, to have her navigate and her thinking is Breeze and then having to, tell Breeze that it ain't really his. I mean, like, especially if something like, what if something ends up happening, I mean, the shootout. What if something comes of that, and then there's a medical emergency that they have to do a blood test or whatever, and they find out, like, oh, wait a minute, like he's not the father. Like sometimes in medical emergencies, stuff comes out, So I'm just like, that would be interesting to see if that happens that way.
Well, they could definitely make the drama, that baby start growing and then the baby don't look like Breeze. All of a sudden Worm come around. Well, that baby look just like Worm.
Well, the baby is certainly cute though. He's a doll baby. Um, so I think we've talked about a lot of stuff. Like we talked about
Oh,
Lucille.
oh, there's one thing that we didn't touch on that oh man,
Go ahead, please
it
go.
hurt me. It hurt me.
Uh-oh,
So
what?
there's a moment when Meech is talking to
Oh,
Charles,
I,
and
mhm.
Charles says, "Listen, I may not be happy with your choices and what you do for a living, but I want you to know I'm proud of you." So, are you serious? You proud of your drug dealing son, and all the other stuff that's come with drug dealing and taking people out? Come on, don't say this. You can say a lot of things. Hey, listen, son, I'm always gonna be there for you. You know what I mean? I'm not happy with what you do, but I'm still your father. I ain't telling you I'm proud of you. I'm not doing it. I am not proud of your drug dealing ways. I do not care. I was also upset when Meech said on the phone, "Yeah, we don't do things like that." You kidding me? At least be straight up with your family. Tell them, "Look, I am not taking nobody out unless they threaten me and my safety. But that's not who we are." But don't give me no, we ain't those type of people. You are those people.
The problem with Charles is that when he first took a bite of that forbidden fruit, it ruined his whole character. So on the one hand, I could understand why he said that to his son because he was already in the mix. He was willing to work for him. He saw the benefits of money and what money can do for you, and I'm sure a lot of things ran through his mind. And I agree with you though, Ron. It did surprise me that he would come out like that and be at least say proud of him. But I would imagine that what he was actually trying to say uh, is that regardless of the method you chose, you were able to somehow rise up above the fray. And I
That's
think,
what I think.
yeah, I think that was the message he was trying to get to him. And to some degree, I guess I would have to agree with that because, up until that point, he wasn't caught. And his father, of course, probably didn't know the heat that was, on him at the point. So, yeah, I got it. But again, like you said, I don't think I would have been so clear-minded about being that much, you know, in line with what he was doing. No.
Right. And keep in mind, I'm saying this for with two things in mind. I'm saying it because of the fact that the upbringing is a certain way. Like they're a church
Mhm.
going upbringing. My wife
Mhm.
is a pastor. Charles is in the
Mhm.
church. He's playing in the
Mhm.
church. Like you have a different sense. So I can't honestly, I don't see a church going father giving him that talk in that way. I can't see it. I could see him saying, "Hey, I love you no matter what. I don't agree with what you're doing. And let me tell you, son, I think you need to be very careful. I think things have been pretty good for you, but you never know when that other shoe is going to drop. And I don't want to lose you." I could see a conversation like that,
He's
Absolutely.
said
but I
that to
can't
him
see
before.
I can't see exactly the way they did it, is what I'm
But he
saying.
but he said that to him before though in the
Oh, I
past.
don't doubt it. Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
doubt it. I'm just
he's in
saying.
the show. He said that he was like, I don't agree with da 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 da. I don't agree with. And before that's why they wouldn't take their money at first. But I do think over the years he's been enticed by what he's seeing
That's what
and
it
and and
is.
and having to be. And when you think about what happened in real life, if you know the real story, he may have started out that way, like we said, but in the real story, he got indicted too. Eventually,
Mm.
he did get like dry. He got involved at
He
some
caught the
point. So
life.
he
Yeah.
so he was indicted too. So that's why I think they had that exchange. So if there is another season, we may see that turn into how Charles gets caught up.
I got you. Okay.
Yeah, so
That makes sense.
that's what I thought. I was like, okay, Charles is like, and I think I kind of agree with what Ron was saying too. I think when he said, "I'm proud of you," I don't think he was saying, "I'm proud of you for being a drug dealer" or anything. I think he meant, "I'm proud of you because you're being your own man."
Yeah.
Mm.
Like you're not, you are. I may not like the means of how you're doing this, but you're like, I'm gonna do this because he said it after Meat said, "I'm gonna start my own label." Like he said, this music thing didn't really work out with me with the Purdy situation, but now I'm gonna pivot and do the BMF Entertainment. And it
Right.
was after that, um, that Charles said that I'm proud of you. So I think he was thinking of that, especially with Charles having his own music aspirations. I
Mhm.
think he probably was like, okay, Meech, I don't like the means of his money, but he's trying to direct his money into a legit career. And I think that's probably why he said he was proud.
And I guess I do have maybe a little bit more bias towards it, just because like when we see some of these stories, that are portrayed in different shows, Snowfall, whatever it may be,
Mm-hmm.
the main guy has aspirations of doing something else. Like, yeah, they want to make the money, but they
Mm-hmm.
want to
Mm-hmm.
make the money to be able to go do something else, what they're really
Mm-hmm.
passionate about. And
Mm-hmm.
and I felt like, not knowing this story before it came to TV, knowing that they
Mm-hmm.
got into music and all that,
Mm-hmm.
I felt like they were, same path. But then
Yeah,
when
they
you
were.
watch it and he's like, said that I could be the black Pablo
How
Escobar. Like
Escobar.
that's
Uh-huh.
what turned me off. That's kind of where
Yeah.
that's
And,
how I feel about it.
and Terry would own a big house on the hill, and he wants to be the first black Pablo.
Pablo Escobar. He had a God complex.
Yeah, yeah, I have been saying that,
You said that. You said that.
and I said that is where he tears me with his brother, this God complex, and he doesn't understand um, what he's putting on himself, apparently. So he gets arrested, and where we
Yeah,
go?
I was gonna lead into that because I was like, you know, T went back, back home and stuff, but he went to party at the palace and stuff. And then what happens? And it's always something at the palace. But he goes to the palace, and this young lady comes up to him once again, trying to sell him a dream. Like Purdy, trying to be the next Purdy, and kind of find out she with Trail's folks, and Trail is in there, and it's already bad blood. And so Trail's people come over there, and next thing you know, they get the wrecking. It's a brawl. And then the brawl, Brian and them, super cop, and he got a new super cop working with him because he's part of the DEA task force, who's a
It's a super
butthole
super cop.
super cop. Yeah, super cop. He got a super task force, and they knew about the brawl, and they pulled up on him. And Tina was even in the mix, and she the bottle, and she accidentally cut this man's throat, or she fell on him or whatever. And so when Meech and them tried to roll out, Meech took the bottle and threw it, and they got surrounded by the team, the task force, Super Cop, Brian, and the other Super Cop, and they uh they discovered that they were like, "Here's the weapon right here," and so Brian was like, "Gotcha."
Here's the first rule in kingpinship. You probably
Okay,
won't hear this ever
tell
again.
us, Ron, Kingpin Ron.
Kingpinship. You, the problem with Meech is everybody knows where he's going to be. You frequent that place, and it makes no sense because if somebody really wanted to take you out, all they have to do is they'll find you there. And that's where you keep getting in trouble. That's where you keep getting in fights. And if you weren't there, you wouldn't have been arrested. So if you're going to be a kingpin, be a ghost. Mm, like that word.
Yeah,
Mm,
we know you do.
Be a ghost.
We know you
smart.
do.
No,
And,
I know. Be a
you
ghost.
and the other thing too is
It's
he's big enough, like with all the money, the way they party, bottle service, all that stuff. You have your own little area. It should be an area, right?
it
Like
should
you
be he
shouldn't be
should
able to
be in
get to me
VIP.
so easily.
Exactly.
Like, what are we talking about?
He
To
should be
frequent
in VIP. He should be in a private area.
over there where nobody knows where he is unless he wants them to know. And that would be few and far between. And that's how you become a Pablo Escobar. You don't sit there and go to a club, a booty club at that. And
Well,
Tell
I
me, how
think
does it make sense that I'm on a label with this dude? Come on, man. I know some people be naive. They don't necessarily know. But
no,
if you know enough to know that, hey, I know Big Meech over there is moving. He has his own thing. I heard what happened with Purdy. You know enough. If you know that, you know more. So you know who you with, right? They're in the club. You gonna try to push your CD to Meech when they're there? Like, I don't
I
understand.
think she tried to make a quickie of it. He'd take this, listen to it, and blah blah blah. I don't blame her in as much as I blame, now of course, Meech could have handled it a little differently.
Of course he could have.
You know, he could have said, "Hey, yo."
On-site Meech.
I'm saying, hey, look, she came up and hit me.
He said no thing. He said that though.
But he
He
said it.
said she approached me.
But what did he say? He said it in such a way that was very
He said
aggressive.
your B approached me. Da 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 da.
He said, "MF, what you talking about?" What did he say?
But the dude rolled up on him.
No,
The way
I
he
got it.
rolled up on him,
But just because he wrote now, he didn't put his hands on him until he put his hands on him. Now, once he got his hands on you, that's a whole nother story. But if your behind wasn't there to begin with, we wouldn't have had all this drama. Okay.
But with that being said, we can just go into the who gets the hands.
Mm-hmm.
Who do y'all want to nominate for the hands list?
Well, Makisha.
Mark wrong without fail. Every week, Marquisha.
Makisha. That call was stupefied. Yeah, so she gets it.
Yeah. I think yeah, I think so too. And she for her saying like F Meech and stuff like that. No, I think that, and also I think Lucille for me, because she thought that she was sitting here saying that she don't want to be alone after she tried to run Charles out the house. So I just was like, isn't that ironic? So yeah, I kind of felt like she deserved the hands.
Yeah, she already got what she deserved.
Yeah. Anybody else? The B Mickey.
Yeah, Ron, yeah, Ron.
I'm sorry, my fault. I apologize. Marquisha, Lucille, Nikki for assuming that she knows exactly who the father is. No, it ain't your baby. Yeah, okay.
Not giving Nikki the
Yeah, I'm giving Nikki the hands. You don't know anything. Did you get tested? Do you know something I don't know? Because you can't even say she was very confident when she talked to LaWanda when she first got pregnant. No, it's got to be Breeze. No, I can't. It's too cut and dry. I don't like it. I don't trust it.
The timing. She said the timing is too. So
it's too iffy. I think T deserves the hands because he didn't jump off that helicopter. I'd have jumped off that helicopter. I'm not leaving my brother.
I'm not leaving my brother either.
Country.
Look, when that helicopter takes off and you try to jump, that's another story. But he said, come on. He could have gotten on there. He didn't.
I know me should have gone. Me should have gone, but I wouldn't have left my brother.
If anything, I'm dragging my brother with me.
You're a twin. I know you ain't leaving your brother.
I would have dragged his ass to the helicopter.
Yes, we going.
Yeah, you going whether you think you're going or not.
Sorry, Loco.
If I gotta knock you out and put you on my shoulder, you going.
Right.
So, there's no question that you're gonna be there with me. If anything, we missed the helicopter because we're in a fight.
Right. Have Meech look like he's in one of them movies. Loco. Nah, get him out of there. Get him out of there. Exactly. Well, another thing that you were talking about before. I'm sorry.
No,
when T was talking about Loco and how Loco is the cause of all this stuff. Mm-hmm. Loco and Marquisha are the same crux, just for different brothers.
Yep. They need to be together.
They need, yeah. Yes.
Sir.
That's interesting. So what you were saying about Charles, because you had some consternation about the fact that you said that he was proud of Meech in that moment. Do you think
you guys have talked me off my ledge. Okay. I had already had Charles on the hands list coming into this, but y'all have made me understand something. However, you telling me the real story about him, I think maybe he does deserve the hands because he winds up getting involved. But
he gets game ball from me. He gave her exactly what she asked.
Oh yes.
Shout
out to Charles for that.
He did not do a Terry. He did not back down and get all Google-eyed because she said, I don't want to be left alone. He was like, you've been at worse places. So, hey, you know what? Do you and let me go do me. Game ball, bruh. Charles gets the game ball as far as I'm
concerned. I think so too.
Who's the Aisha?
I was going to say
the hands too.
I was wondering. I was like, Aisha, I think she gets the hands because she wasn't loyal to B-Mickey.
I mean, that's about her loyalty. It's more about her the thought process to be looking at Lamar like he's much better than B-Mickey. He's a monster too. They're both monsters.
Amen.
They're both, yeah.
Amen.
Yeah, yeah. I can see that. I understand. Yeah, but I think, to everybody, I think Charles is probably bad. And I'm gonna give him a pass with what he said about to Meech and stuff. And I guess Meech and T, neither one of them deserved the game ball. I'm happy for LaWanda finding a new boo.
Yeah, happy for that.
I mean, I guess if you want to give the game ball to Hoop for selling the story to B-Mickey to even get him to believe
Hoop
it.
Was clutch. Hoop is clutch though.
I don't know. I mean, maybe not the game ball, but he did a good job.
He did a job. I mean, he did his job. And,
he did his job, yeah.
I game ball to me is the outstanding.
Yeah, correct. MVP.
Hoop is a loyal soldier though. He's always been clutch for both T and me. So I think
he does his job. He does his job. If he had saved the life from some, what he did was his job, and he did it.
He helped get B-Mickey up out of there. I mean, he set up the meat, he sold it, not everything and stuff. So, and if it wasn't for that meat, he indirectly got Lamar out of there too. And Lamar has been a pain in the butt too. So I'm like, I don't know. I can make an argument for who.
Give me season 5, and I'll give him a game ball for taking Lamar out. But until that, if I see that Terminator. If I see him on season 5, all bets.
Well, they said, well, this time Brian said we got 3 bodies out of it.
Okay, that's good. All right, we know this.
He said we got 3 bodies out of that. That's not in the prison system.
He ain't got no more yet. I don't know. Just like I said, I got to see this man buried. Okay.
Okay. Well, I guess it's settled then, and so we have discussed everything in this season finale. I thought it was a good finale and stuff. I enjoyed the season, regardless of what we heard online about its underperforming and stuff. That was the first I heard of that because I enjoyed the season, and I was happy to see B-Mickey and Lamar back. So I'm still going to give kudos to the cast and the directors and everybody involved behind the scenes, in front and behind the camera for BMF. I enjoyed it.
And let me say, as hard as I am, I agree wholeheartedly. It's a great show. I've loved every minute of it, in spite of some of the characters. The actors are wonderful. They're fantastic. They know their job. They do it well. Kudos.
And I would agree with both of you guys as well. I've been a lot more critical these past 2 episodes than I've ever been on the show in the whole, but I do enjoy it. And it still got me glued. I'm still watching because there's definitely an entertainment value to it. I just wish that, sometimes they wouldn't make Meech so contradictory to himself. You can't be on site and then preach peace at the same time. It's peace for this, but now on site when I see, just come on.
First chance you get, you're in a fight.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yep. Well, thank you guys for watching. Thank Ron Squared for joining us this week. Tierra will be back soon. Please like and subscribe to the video. Click the notification bell so you know when our next videos drop. Check out our playlist so you can see the interviews because we've had interviews with the cast. I know we interviewed with Roberto Sanchez, who plays Loco. And then I was on Monique Nicole's channel and we interviewed with Terry Allen, who plays Duffy. And then from previous seasons, we interviewed Lil Meech and Nicole Brianna White, who plays Lucille. So check out the playlist. We're on all social media channels. Follow us on Facebook, X, TikTok, and subscribe to the channel. And with that, it's a wrap.
That's it. Good night.
All right. Thanks. Bye.
Yeah, smoking on his I swear really got me fried. I've been through a lot, I swear it helps me clear my mind. We put some work on the streets, we in overdrive. Saving 30% just to pay the fines. Only hit my phone if you need a 3-5. We making business moves, everyone is justified. My old lady dialed me up like when you coming home. I'm a man in these streets, the streets is my home. We doing 2 for 1s, work until we see the sun. They love the presence of my voice like I'm Big Pun. I switched the Prezi out for the day just. Sometimes I gotta ask God why they hate us. I see the fake smiles on these boys like veneers. I've been counting up, cause it's my golden year. Popping ace of spades to wash away the tears. I ain't seen an L in the last 5 years. Let's take a victory lap, let's take a set to relax. I fell in love with the streets is loving me back.